So this week is the Sugar Lime Blue original, million pieces.
Do I get to sit down first?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this week is the Sugar Lime Blue original, million pieces. And as far as I know, there's no wiki page on when it was written or what the artists were thinking.
So tell me, when was it written and what were the artists thinking?
No idea. Well, part of our writing process, you guys may not know, is we have notebooks. Notebooks upon notebooks. They're spiral notebooks and binder notebooks that house snippets of songs, or snippets of lyrics, I should say, of what I refer to as zingers to myself.
We also have
nice,
hundreds of phone notes.
Oh, so many memos, so many voice memos and notes and just zingers. Like little pieces that is clever, or it caught your brain just right on that day when you wrote it. And we had the first and consequently the last verse of this song for years. For years. It sat alone, lonely in a notebook. The first verse, completed verse, because we thought it was clever. And it took a while. You kept pushing on this one in particular. Like, that one deserves more words. Let's sit down and make more words for it. And so over the course of literal years, we did. So when it was written was over time.
I don't remember it getting the music. I do remember having the little dee-doo-dee-doo-doo for a long time.
Yeah, I think it was in an effort to make more words. We thought giving it melody might
kind of boxed
spur
it
we
did an arrangement, and then and it's still quite a short song.
It is,
as far as we go.
Well, again, in my songwriting process, and you guys may not know, is that I will write 2 verses. Generally, it's 2, maybe 3 verses, and go, okay, I'm done. I've said all I set out to say. Dave will come in and go, this needs a bridge. It needs a chorus. It needs another verse at least. It's not done. And I'm like, no, I said what I wanted to say. He's like, well, you need to expand. Yeah. So we compromised on this one, actually, because I had said all that I felt. And you're like, yeah, it is concise. It's said all it needs to say. Let's repeat the first verse again and give it a little more emphasis. It's like printing in bold instead of regular font. So
worth a revisit.
Yeah. It did hang around for years and years, waiting on the rest of its words. So
yeah, it was one that we kind of found. I think maybe it hung around so long because it's not in a style that we write very often.
Yeah.
We thought we had attributed a style to it in which we don't write very often. Maybe.
Yeah, so it came as a little more of a challenge to add to, I think. But we're, as people and as songwriters, we're not afraid of a challenge.
And of course, it's available on Spotify and YouTube and Apple Music and all that fun stuff. It's a finished product.
Yeah, this is the acoustic
CD,
version. Yeah.
On the album, Blackbird Sessions, recorded at Blackbird Studios in
Nashville, Tennessee.
I don't really remember the recording process for this too much, for this particular song. I remember some of the other songs on the album better.
Yeah, it was kind of a whirlwind at Blackbird. We just, we got in there and did our thing and then came back and did some extra things and then brought it back to our studio and moved things and tweaked things and put it out. Yeah. It was a little whirlwind.
Sure.
So side stories about us as just people. We talked about us as artists. So we evidently are the holiday animal gatherers, because
that's funny.
Usually we get dogs and cats just show up here at our place, and we've attributed that to we live just outside of the city limits. There's a creek, there's open spaces.
We're one of the first open spaces, but now we're quickly becoming one of the only open spaces.
We are. So we think people drop off their unwanted animals here, which is really sad, because where we live, they do have facilities that will help rehome dogs, but they have nothing for cats. So currently we have 6 cats that they live here now. They've chosen us and they're here. And we have gotten multiple dogs. And it's weird too, because it seems to be on holiday weekends. We've gotten them on Memorial Day. The one that I remember the best was on Good Friday of Easter weekend. And so there were no services to be had. You couldn't get in touch with anybody. And here was this dog, and they will consider it your dog if you feed water or fence it in. And I'm like, we can't just let this dog roam around and be unfed and unwatered and just chase our cats. So you have to be like a smart person to get around all the rules and things. Yeah, exactly.
And of course, they won't take cats.
They won't take cats at all.
An abundant number of cats.
So, which I'm cool with, because they get along okay together with the raccoons and possums and groundhogs. For the most part, groundhogs can be really mean to cats. But here on Mother's Day this year, you had an encounter for the record books.
Yeah.
It was on Mother's Day.
I was sitting by the fire pit and had my feet up, and I was looking at something musical on my phone, and I was thinking, I should maybe bring out a speaker and have a fire. And I looked up, and maybe about 5 feet from the bottom of my feet were 3 cows looking at me.
Cows.
And I was
cows just showed up on Mother's
Day. What's going on? And I guess they maybe thought I was a dead body, or they just thought I was a picture.
They didn't notice you.
They kind of jumped back. Yeah. I startled them when I spoke, but they were very friendly cows.
Yeah, they were. Well, there were 2 cows and 1 bull, and the bull really didn't want the girls around us much at all. So it turned out that they were our neighbors. We had there's a whole thing that goes with it, but we were able to put them in our fence for the night because the neighbors weren't
Which hasn't held animals in at least 15 years.
Not since we've been here. It hasn't held anything other than cats. So you were able to shore that up, and we were able to house the cows because we didn't want them to get out on the road and be damaged or cause damage. And we were able to get them back through a lot of shenanigans and kind of fun. Get them back to the neighbors. Yeah. So that happened.
We did find their owners. Yep. And then recently,
the 4th of July happens, and what should show up on our lawn?
A beautiful chicken.
But a chicken.
Yeah.
Yep. We have the most gorgeous hen just super invested in our backyard. Yeah. She has no interest in going elsewhere. The cats went from stalking her to protecting her. So now she has guard cats. And she is super taken with our backyard. She wants to roost on the car. We have no chicken keeping facilities, though
she's been roosting on our tour vehicle.
Yeah, on the tour vehicle.
Luggage rack.
Yeah, so I have to go out because chicken poop especially is very acidic and will eat right through paint. So every morning I have been getting up and going out and cleaning the tour vehicle from the chicken poop, which, I mean, she's gorgeous.
You're doing the Lord's work.
She makes the happiest little hen clucks that you have ever heard. So I mean, how does one even go about finding the chicken owner? Because I thought she would just go home to roost at night. And she said, This is where I am now. I go to here.
Yeah, I don't know where she belongs.
Maybe in the barn. Maybe we make her.
I don't know. I know that people down the way used to have chickens, but
they've moved. Anymore, they've moved. We don't. Did she run away? I mean, I don't know. She hasn't laid any eggs, so I think she might be older.
I was actually gonna segue from our country song to our now country
living.
Life.
We're officially a farm. We've had cows and a chicken now.
Cows and a chicken.
With guard cats.
It's interesting that what life will bring you.
You
just are open to it sometimes.
I'm telling you.
And it's like what more of a physical way. It's just been crazy.
It has. So us on our holiday animal collection. So I don't know what the next holiday will bring. Maybe just the cookout and not the animals.
Yeah, maybe. maybe just let us know like what's been showing up in your life that's been unexpected.
Yeah.
Be curious to see if other people are having things, just whether it's unexpected events or just like animals showing up.
Well, I also had a strange encounter with a wild bird while I was mowing the lawn this last time I was down. We have a creek down the back of our property and a beautiful little section back there that I call the park. It's got an old stone wall down there, and we like to go and picnic down there. But I was down there, and we also have a little fire pit down there, so you light it up, let it smoke to keep the mosquitoes away, because they get bad down there. So there were some branches and whatnot that we had put in there, and there was this little bird. It was a young bird, I would say a teenaged bird, that swooped down out of the tree and landed on one of these branches no further than we are apart from each other. While I had this loud mower going, I was on a 0-turn mower, and it looked at me. I mean, it looked at me. It took me in, and then it swooped down and went back up and sat on the branch and looked at me, and then did it again. It had to do it like 5 times. So I turned off the blades to the mower because I don't know what I'm doing, and it just kept doing this. And so I turned to turn the key off the mower, and when I turned back around, the bird was gone. I was like, oh, that was just a weird happening. And so I went over to a different part of the field, and I'll be doggone if this bird didn't follow me over to a different part of the field and do the same thing. So I kind of wonder if perhaps the parent birds were teaching it that you go after the mower because when the grass is mowed, a lot of the bugs kind of come up to the surface, or they have gotten caught in the mower blades, and it's easier for the birds to swoop down and get them. And I wonder if that baby bird was motioning to me, hey, give me food. Mo, here, give me food. But it was a really interesting interaction because it was so close to me, and I felt like it was trying to communicate with me, and I just don't know bird.
Right.
So maybe I've been given a chicken so I can learn birds. So
yes.
Talk to them.
He was telling you that he was going to bring you his friend.
Maybe the bird.
And you said okay.
You
shut the mower off.
I did. I have brought this on myself.
Yes.
So happy Independence Day to, I guess, Henrietta is what we're calling the chicken.
To all the independence of animals, apparently.
Yes, at our place. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us for our music and little bits about our life. We'd love to hear more about your animal stories or your music stories, or if you're a songwriter or a writer of any sort, what's your writing process like? Ours takes years sometimes.